You're listening to Were You Still Talking? All right, well, let me go ahead and get started. First of all, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Hey, welcome to another episode. This is Joel, and I am back on Zoom today. Today on the Zoom, I have author Jesse Cruz. He has written a book, Live Your Dash, Discovering the 8 F's to Freedom. He's proudly served our country as an Iraq War veteran in the U.S. Army. Jesse's also the assistant director of the Ontario County Youth Advocate Programs. In addition to this, he's been engaged in speaking at correctional facilities and coaching sports. He has a BA in Community Youth Development. He's pursuing his master's in Theology at Colgate, Rochester, Crozer, Divinity School. In his spare time, he also likes travel, hiking with family and friends. Don't we all? Yeah, so really nice to have you here, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for your time.
You bet. My pleasure. I love having conversations with people from around the country, and especially people, who are doing things to motivate and help other people. That's always a great thing, I think. And what drove you to write a book in the first place? That seems like a huge project. You're still pretty young. What gave you the idea to put it on paper, to write an entire book?
Well, actually, it started with something I went to a few years ago. My wife and I had a child who was born prematurely. She was due in May of 2017, but she was born in January, so she was extremely premature. And through that process, I was in the hospital every day with her and watching her fight for her life, and it was heartbreaking. I mean, it was terrible, just to kind of go through the emotions and all the pain of seeing her struggle to breathe was challenging for me.
Yeah.
And she fought every day. And then after 42 days, she passed away.
Wow.
And from that experience, I said, I want to make her proud. I want to carry on her legacy. And that's what I've been doing. And that's what birthed the book. I sat down, I wrote it on a piece of paper, and I cried my eyes out every single day until this book was written. And here it is. It's going all over the country. So it's because of her, fighting every single day inspired me to keep on fighting every single day.
That's amazing. That's an incredible story. And it's always amazing to me when people are able to share that with others, and able to put that, obviously heartbreaking experience into something that's positive and that is going to help other people. That's beautiful. It's really nice stuff. So tell me, what are the 8 F's? Tell me a little bit about the 8
Okay.
F's.
So when I was writing it, I noticed a theme was developing. So the first F was focus, because I truly believe we become what we think about, whether for good or for bad. So I realized that the power of our thoughts directly guides our actions, our behaviors, our attitudes, our success and failures. Everything in our lives is based on what we focus on. So that's why it's the first chapter of the book, and that's why it's so important for everything that we do to be very aware of every action that we take was rooted in a thought. Nothing that we do was done without a thought. So the better our thoughts, the better our actions. So if we have stinking thinking, we're going to have actions that reflect that as well. So if we choose to take our thoughts captive and be intentional about doing the right thing in our mind, it becomes a reality in our actions.
And that, you kind of proved that out when you sat down and wrote a book, because I know that's a pretty big endeavor. And how long did it take you to get it down? And did you actually write the whole thing on with pen and paper? Was that your process?
Yeah. So just the process real quick. I wrote I think it was about a week and a half after she passed away. I started writing the book from pen to paper, so I filled up an entire notebook. I wrote 6 days a week. I would write every single morning until I filled up at least a page. And then I repeated that until the whole notebook was full. Then I took all that content that I wrote in the notebook and then I typed it all up. And so that was my process. for the beginning stages. And, from editing and getting a publisher, all in all, I mean, it was about a 2-year process to get it to where I wanted it to be.
But you did have, I mean, the thing that I kind of heard there was you had the discipline to sit down every day and you're going to write a page, and then that page would turn into more and more and more. So that right there was using what was in your mind to go forward and write and get that stuff out there. So that's amazing. Yeah, that's incredible. What are some of the other things that are in there?
So the book shifts from focus, and then I talk about fitness because I believe everybody, wants to be healthier, and if not, there will come a point where they'll be forced to be healthier if they don't intentionally choose it now. They will see that the importance of staying active. Not necessarily you don't have to go to a gym to be fit. You can exercise in your own home. And it's not always just about physical fitness. I'm big on mental fitness as well. So when you work out, you're focusing on your reps and your weights and time and, calorie count, whatever the case may be. But when you're focused on mental fitness, you're focused on challenging your brain, whether that's learning a new skill, reading a book, going to a conference. So fitness is more than just your physical body. It is also your mind. And for anything that we want to accomplish in life, it's going to require those two things to be working together to accomplish the task.
Oh yeah, that's 100%. Fitness is your mind, I think, because without your mental abilities and your mental discipline, there is no fitness. How many people get up and do physical fitness stuff without some kind of discipline? Now, some people love it. Some people started, playing sports when they were really young, and so their fitness is sports, and they absolutely love it. But I know a lot of people, even professional athletes, to work out every day and do some kind of fitness, it takes an incredible discipline. I actually have been through a long period of injuries where it was really hard to work out, and I'm just getting back to where I can do something. So one of my things is, another thing I like to tell people is if you are physically able to exercise or move in any way, do it. You owe it to yourself, because there may be something could happen and you can't. And then, that sucks. Trust me. That's really
right.
It's not good. So you gotta be there. But yeah, mental discipline. I mean, to me, it's that 90% inspiration and 10% perspiration. That's really what it boils down to with physical fitness. People think that bodybuilders work out all the time. But, a bodybuilder, somebody that's getting to that level of fitness, which is mostly about show, I understand, but mostly what they're doing to get that huge is eating and planning, right? That's most of their day, and a little bit of it, that 2 hours, maybe 3 a day, is working out. That's a small part of your day. So, yeah, I've always thought that mental fitness is just as important, if not more important than physical. I mean, it's going to lead to physical fitness. I guess that's what I'm trying to say, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what are some of the other ideas in the book?
I mean, so I run through, other chapters such as topics of finance, fun. That's another topic because I think those are both, very important. I even go as far as to talk about forgiveness, friendships, family, faith. And these are all things that are very relatable to everyday situations that we experience. So I feel like every topic, every chapter of this book relates to every person's life in some way. For some parts, the chapters are more relevant to certain people than others, but all chapters are important because no matter what you believe or where you live or whatever your background, all these different areas will impact your life in some way.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And you also do public speaking, and you've even spoken in correctional facilities. So how did that start? Like, how did you get started doing that? Was that also inspired from the book, or was that kind of a separate thing?
That was something that was done separately. That was an invitation I had to come in there and do the Sunday morning chapel services, and I
Hmm.
and I did that for about a couple years, and just going sharing my faith with these gentlemen, and sharing some of my struggles and my background, and it was very impactful. You know what I mean? Because not because I'm just some great speaker, but it more so that they had someone in there who was just telling them the truth about what I've gone through, and not trying to come at anybody like I'm better than anybody. I'm not
Hmm.
smarter than anybody. I just want to be real, and understand that we all have struggles. We all have things that have traumatized us, and we all have pain. And I just openly share my pain, and know that we're all in this together, and let's just work on healing and getting better and taking that pain and turn it into our purpose.
Oh yeah, I love that. That that's a really good idea. Um, and I mean, taking your pain and sharing it with other people in order for them to grow is. I'm always impressed by people that do that. It seems to be happening more and more, and that's something that's really difficult to me. I'm kind of a private person, but it's really awesome that you can do that. You can put that out there to help other people. It is inspirational, absolutely. And so I'm changing the subject a little bit. when you when you travel, where do you like to go? What kind of place do you like to travel to?
Well, I'll start with my all-time two favorite places that I've been to. Number one is Hawaii. Absolutely love it there.
Yeah, me too. That's one of my all-time favorite places. The
And
Big
my
Island.
next, yeah, I have not been to the Big
Uh,
Island, but I went to the island of Kauai,
uh-huh.
which was just fantastic. And my second favorite place is Iceland.
Oh, Iceland. Wow. Iceland's the green one, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Greenland's
Yeah,
ice, Iceland's green.
you
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. We're some
Okay.
traveling addicts. We love to travel and explore and see the world, and those are two places that stick out the most.
Oh, awesome. So what's Greenland like? What did you like about it there? Isn't that a fairly small population in Greenland?
Yeah, so I
A lot
think
of
Iceland is about
Iceland, I'm sorry.
yeah, geographically it's about the size of Georgia, and I think they got about 300 to 400,000 people. Very isolated island. The people were friendly, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, I'm a big into nature, into hiking and exploring, and so that, I mean, it's the greenest place like on earth. Like I've never seen anything like it. So it's just a beautiful place, and great experience, and I'd love to go back.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. What kind of do they have wildlife there?
So
I think.
there's not like main predators there because where they're located, so they don't really have much of that.
Mhm.
I did learn while I was there on one of the tours that they have a huge bird population. So I think they said that 2/3 of all species of birds live in Iceland, which I found out to be very intriguing. But as far as seeing, I didn't see much wildlife. I was there. I mean, the main thing that I saw that was intriguing was there are birds called puffins. I don't know if you've ever seen the puffin cereal, but it's a very unique looking kind of bird. We did go see some of those. That was pretty cool. But we didn't see much wildlife where we were there.
Yeah, we have puffins in the zoos around here. I think somewhere on the west coast they actually have puffins, but they're a different species than what would be in Iceland. Similar looking bird though.
Yeah,
Those,
and I would
yeah.
say our most recent trip was just back in July. We actually did come out to the West Coast.
Hmm.
We saw pretty much all of Oregon, and then we went up to Washington, and it was a nice little road trip. So the West it's absolutely beautiful out west. I love it out there.
Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful place. It's still on my bucket list to see the rest of the U.S. That's kind of, I mean, I want to see the whole world, but I also want to see kind of everywhere in the U.S.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. So much to see.
there's so much to see. It's a big country. It's pretty amazing. Um, yeah. Anything stand out when you were out here in Oregon? Did you go to like Crater Lake or anything?
Absolutely
You
went to
did.
Crater
All
Lake.
right.
Just astonishing, just amazing. Columbia River area, that was just beautiful. Mount Hood, the coastline like Cannon Beach. Seeing the beaches on the coast. I just thought Oregon. It was just a beautiful, beautiful state. I love it there.
Yeah, it's nice out here. And Rochester is almost on the same line, I think, isn't it?
Similar, I believe. It's
It's
similar,
pretty
similar, yeah.
close. It's just directly, almost straight across. So the weather must be similar. Yeah. It's interesting. I've lived here a long time, so I'm kind of ready to go somewhere else, but it's nice here. It's
It
a
is
nice
very
place.
nice there.
Yeah, everyone loves it in Oregon. It's a big one. Um, and so back to your book, you talked about faith, family, and you actually work as a youth pastor?
Youth advocate.
Youth advocate. So you work with really people who are in trouble, or just everybody?
Yeah, so I mean, I work with youth who are, needed some guidance. These youth aren't necessarily at risk or in trouble. These are youth that we've identified to be people who could become leaders, and we provide them with extra support. My program specifically targets a minority population that we believe who can take the next step in becoming leaders in their community. So it's so important that they have, a male role model to be there as a support, someone that they can trust. So I spend time with them on a regular basis, just guiding them through life. And if they need assistance and help, I'm always there. And even when they don't need me, I'm still showing up, because I got to check on them. I got to make sure they're doing okay no matter what, just so it's about that consistency. I think everybody needs consistency. So, consistently showing up to be there as a support is huge for them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. That's a great thing to do. And I mean, for kids to have somebody in their life and have some guidance is a big thing. Kids of every age. I mean, people of every age. Are you doing any like book tours or anything like that with the book? Have you been to got to that level where you can, go around and sign autographs, speak about the book, things like that?
So, I mean, yeah, before COVID came around, I mean, I was doing, I was setting up tables at, local concert venues in my neighborhood, local library, book fairs, book festivals, book signings at Barnes and Noble. Yeah, so I was going all around this region and doing book signings and doing some speaking and, signing autographs and all this. It was a great experience, and hopefully pick that back up again, when things continue to open up,
Right. Yeah, I'm actually wearing my team colors because football's starting tonight. And I don't know if that's good.
Oh, that's my team too. That's my team.
Is it?
We got the same. Yes, it is. I love San Francisco.
Yes. So close. So close.
So close, but yet so far away.
Yeah. Oh, man. So, I don't know if that's going to be fun watching football or just really strange. It should be fun.
I'm adjusting to watching the NBA because that's my favorite sport, and it's definitely different. But if you love the sport, you can watch it without fans. It's just different.
That's true. Well, we've been watching The Last Dance. Have you seen that?
No, I don't think I have.
It's about Michael Jordan's last season. It's a Netflix series.
The Last Dance. Oh,
yeah.
No, okay.
Isn't that what it's called? Maybe I got the name
wrong.
No,
yeah. You know what? That's my fault. I actually have seen the whole thing, so I don't even know why I'm sitting here lying. I thought for some reason you were talking about some type of dance show, and I was like, no. But
there's a lot of those out too.
Yeah. So I was like,
that's right.
I don't think so.
Dancing with the basketball greats now.
Yeah, like Last Dance of Michael Jordan, phenomenal. I mean, it was an amazing documentary. I loved it.
Yeah, I'm just blown away by it. I'm not a huge basketball fan, which I don't know why, because it's a much more exciting game than football. But it's just, I don't know, it's a phenomenal story. And it was a different time. Like, I recognize all the names that, in that documentary, all the people he played with, all the teams he played against. Of course, one of them's the Blazers, so I knew about the Blazers. And and they don't talk much about it, but when they went to the playoffs, that was huge. I mean, the Blazers were not doing well for years before that. And so when they make it to the playoffs, that's a big deal. Nowadays, they're a much better team. It happens a lot more often. But yeah, in the 90s, that was a big deal. Anyway, inspirational story. And, incredible athletes. Absolutely. No, I lost my train of thought. Can't remember what I was talking. Can't remember what I was on about. Yeah. So what other play? I'm going to cut part of this out because I'm blanking. Oh, I know. I actually have. I want to. I haven't done this for a little while, but I actually have a list of questions that works for anybody. So I'm gonna. This is kind of a fun thing.
All right.
So the first one, and this relates to something we talked about earlier. Do you like turtles?
Yeah, specifically sea turtles.
Yeah, that's where I get the question. I loved swimming with turtles in Hawaii. It's one of my favorite things.
Yes, that's what we did together. It was awesome. Sea turtles in the ocean. It's the best.
It's just phenomenal. You ever thought about doing a podcast? Like starting your own podcast?
Absolutely. I've definitely have thought of that for sure.
All right. Great. And what do you think it would be about?
I think it would be about interviewing and connecting with other leaders who are aspiring to grow and want to help other people do the same. Oh
yeah, that's good. My podcast is about everything, but it's good to have a specific subject. I think it's helpful. Do you believe in luck?
No,
not at all. Not on any level. Okay. Social media. Good or bad?
Depends on whose hands it's in.
Good answer.
Just like
Good
anything
answer.
else in life.
Yeah.
All depends on whose hands it's in.
Yeah. I am one thing that I'm always inspired by when something like what's happening now in Oregon happens is this is where social media shines. Because, everyone's using all these different social media sites to connect and to see if somebody is okay, and to see where to get help, and to see where to send help. So in that case, it's good. There's a lot of other things, but maybe aren't great. So in whose hands? And yeah. Do you have a favorite podcast, not only that you listen to, or maybe that you've been on? This isn't your first one.
No, my favorite podcast that I listen to?
Yeah.
I would say my favorite podcast, one of them it's called The Naked Marriage.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably my favorite podcast. Absolutely.
Right. Cool. And this is an odd one. Get any new furniture lately?
No.
I get that.
It's been a little while.
Yeah.
Unless you count like outside like Adirondack chairs or some deck chairs. I mean, if that's the case, then yes.
That's furniture. That's the best kind of furniture. Where you can sit out and relax, and that's what you need right now. What's the last thing you bought online?
I'm sure it was a book. That's the only thing I buy.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sure it had to have been a book. I don't buy anything else.
Wow. So you still use Amazon for books? But
that's the only thing I use it for.
People forget that's all it was. It wasn't not very long ago. It was just
going
books.
Back to the roots.
That's
back where it all started.
Right on. Cool. You broken any laws lately?
I mean, I guess if you count speeding.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess I break that every day because I don't, the speed limit says 30. I probably never go exactly 30. So I guess that's one that I probably break on a regular basis is, 35, whatever, so I guess that'd be the one.
That would be, yeah, that's pretty normal. My wife and I actually met in Southern California, and we moved up here from there, and we had to get used to going the speed limit because, in large cities, nobody goes the speed limit. You'd never get anywhere. So everyone's either stopped or they're going 80. So yeah,
exactly.
It's a weird one. Have you ever wanted to do you actually do several things for a living. Have you ever wanted to do something else? Have you ever thought of another career path that maybe you want to do or are going to do?
Like at any point in my life?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd say when I was a kid, I wanted to be a pro basketball player or a music artist. So when I was a kid, those are two things that I aspired to be: a famous athlete or a famous music artist.
And did you play basketball?
When I was a kid, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I
I mean, you
enjoyed
play
it,
in high
absolutely.
school and college and
No, I actually,
no?
it was when I was a lot younger that was my dream. But as I grew up, it wasn't my dream. But that's kind of one that I think about when I was really young.
Mhm.
And I think the most famous one of them all when I was really, really young was I want to be an astronaut just because I wanted to fly in the air, not knowing all the college and education it took to become an astronaut. I just wanted to go float in the air somewhere. So,
Oh, yeah. And now
like
it just
everybody
takes,
else.
like everyone else. Now it just takes money.
Yeah.
You can go float in space one day if you can afford to, which is just boggling to me that anyone is going to be able to go to space because it used to be astronauts only. Do you believe in talent?
Yes.
You do?
I
Okay.
believe everyone has at least one.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I
No matter
believe
who they
everyone.
are.
Yeah.
They have one at least.
Yeah. That's a good point. I think so too. Oh, and I think I know the answer to this one. Do you think there's something after this? An afterlife?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
Right. I figured that there would be no question for you. But it's always an interesting one to ask. It's always good. Well, listen, I know you got other things to do, and it's really hard to breathe here. So I think we're going to wrap this up. And again, I really want to thank you for coming on. It's been awesome talking to you.
Thank you so much for having me.
You bet.
It's been a lot of fun.
It's been good. Thanks for coming on the show. You've been listening to Were You Still Talking? This is Joel Albrecht, and my guest today has been author Jesse A. Cruz. He has a new book out. Well, it's not new anymore, but it still is because of COVID. Everything's still new. It's called Live Your Dash, Discovering the 8 F's to Freedom. You can get it in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening. All of Jesse's information, too, if you want links to his book and stuff, and it'll be in the show notes. And as I always say, be good to each other. And lately, as I want to remind people, be good to yourself. All right. That is it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
I appreciate you coming on. And I appreciate the work you're doing. I mean,